repeatable and a quality process for our windows to go in, so that the contractors don't experience headaches and our distribution partners don't experience headaches. So we do invest a lot in making sure that we have some of the best materials. We provide proprietary flashing tape and other products.
Welcome to this special edition of the Fine Homebuilding Podcast, sponsored by Pella Windows and Doors. The Fine Homebuilding Podcast is a regular discussion of building, remodeling, and design topics aimed at anybody who cares deeply about the craft and science of working on houses. This is Senior Editor Patrick McComb. Today I'm joined by producer Jeff Rose and Travis Eisenbarth of Pella Windows and Doors. Please email your questions to fhbpodcast@taunton.com. You can find previous podcasts and check out the show notes at finehomebuilding.com/podcast. Travis, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Can you please tell me what you do for Pella?
Sure. I'm the Architect Series and Reserve Product Manager.
And these are pretty high-end custom products. Am I correct in that assumption?
Yeah, we would consider them our premium wood product line.
Can you talk about how they fit into your Pella's wood windows and door lineup? I suspect you guys have several different lines of product.
Yeah, of course. We have three primary wood brands, being the Lifestyle brand, which is basically our flagship. And that's our brand that spans anywhere from really a very cost competitive opening price point all the way up, and that's in a dual glaze, if you're familiar with that term, and then up to our triple glaze within Lifestyle that offers our most competitive energy performance, sound performance. You can get blinds between the glass, things like that. That's really all within that flagship Lifestyle brand. And then moving up from there, we start to be more specific from an aesthetic standpoint on style. So we have a traditional Architect Series and an Architect Series Contemporary, which really speaks to more the OG profile, the traditional, and then the square on the Contemporary. Bigger sizes, more colors, more options as you move up the premium scale. And then our third brand is Pella Reserve, and Reserve actually goes to the nth degree from a style standpoint, being very authentic from a traditional standpoint, offering the putty glazed exterior, if you will. And then on the Contemporary side, we have the very clean, slick, minimal sight lines, maximum glass, squared off profiles. That's really hot in the Contemporary side of things right now.
And when you get into the higher price points, can you specify wood species and that kind of stuff, or is it limited to what's on your books?
Absolutely. You can do custom woods. We offer a mahogany, Douglas fir, alder. We have white oak, maple, cherry, a variety of different species that we can custom make.
So, I've in my lifetime watched the emergence of vinyl windows and more recently, or not more recently, but in southwestern climates, aluminum windows and even stainless steel windows in some markets. Like, do wood windows still represent the largest market share of the whole market of windows and doors?
Now, I've seen industry statistics that say really across all window and door markets, vinyl's in that 6 or 7 out of 10, just with the real rise of tract homes and some of the production builders and so forth. That's kind of the go-to window for that market. When you get into the custom world, wood still has a very heavy presence in the custom home.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but do you find that most of the products are clad, or are they natural exteriors too?
Yeah, we see that the vast majority goes towards an aluminum clad, maintenance free. There's just really a lot of options. And of course, customers love the fact that they don't have to do anything to finish the exterior of their windows. But there's still pockets out there. For instance, Martha's Vineyard, that they really like the wood exterior. It's part of what they have in their neighborhoods.
And it's, I'm sure, creates a lot of work for the folks who maintain those big homes on that island, right?
Right.
How many wood windows and doors do you make in a year? I mean, Pella's a huge manufacturer. I'd love to hear, how many of those things are coming out of your plants.
Yeah, being privately held, I can't actually give you an exact number, but I'll give you the ballpark and say we're in the million unit club.
That's astounding. So how many people does it take to make that many windows and doors?
Yeah, I forget what the exact number is, but I think we're at the 7,500-ish employees
Wow,
our
that's pretty cool.
residential operations.
And so in the wood product line we were talking about earlier, like, is it include all operations, fixed casement, awning, double hung, or does it vary by the respective line?
Yeah, so most all of our wood brands, I think we'll have a casement awning, a fixed sash and frame casement, direct sets, picture windows, hinge doors, sliding doors. And then, of course, when you get into the premium, we do a whole variety of custom things. So you start to get into the pivot doors and the shapes and things like that.
Mm. And is all the stuff made in Pella, Iowa, or are there other manufacturing facilities throughout the country?
Yeah, our wood manufacturing facilities primarily are within the Iowa. So we have Shenandoah, Iowa, Pella, Iowa, Sioux Center, and Carroll. We have some wood manufacturing in Macomb, Illinois as well.
And so what do you see of the advantages of wood windows versus other materials? Of course, we talked about, like, there's so many options, but what other things are of advantage when you consider wood as a material?
Yeah, I get asked that question a lot, actually. So I had some time to think about that. Obviously, we offer a line of windows called Impervia, made of fiberglass, which has just a whole host of benefits and advantages from a strength standpoint and durability standpoint. But when I think about wood windows in general, to me, it boils down to three things. We talk a lot about the warmth and beauty of wood. I think you've heard of that before. When we talk about the warmth, not only is it visually warm, but at the same time, if you took a sugar cube of wood versus a sugar cube of vinyl or fiberglass, thermally, performance-wise, it's really hard to beat wood. To this day, it's still one of the best thermal insulators. And then from a beauty standpoint, often imitated but never duplicated from that natural wood grain perspective. So we're very proud of the wood grain, and customers that buy wood products with the wood grain have really something to brag about. And we offer a variety of stains to enhance that. For me, the second thing on wood is the customization. It's just the variety that you can get. If you dream it, we can build it within certain limits for the wood portfolio. And then the last thing I think that doesn't get talked about enough in the wood window industry is really the rise of sustainability. So when you talk about sustainability, what could be more Goldilocks than a product that's over 90% wood, aluminum, or glass, right? Aluminum is one of the most recycled metals on the planet. Glass is recycled, so much so that you have to put broken glass or cullet into float glass to be able to even manufacture new glass. And wood is a biorenewable resource that we preservatively treat to last you for a lifetime. But when you think about the disposition of a wood window, you can bury your wood after it's served its useful life into the ground, and after a matter of decades, it's going to return to the earth. And you can't say that about all engineered materials in the business today.
I'm going to guess there's lower embodied energy with a wood window than there are in other materials too. And I'm guessing you're sourcing your trees, your lumber for your manufacturing from somewhere in the Midwest is my guess. Is that true?
Well, all of our woods come from FSC certified companies, and we do source from all around. We're big enough to where we need to pull from a lot of different regions.
Sure.
But yeah, they're very responsibly sourced.
What are some of the, wood windows have been around a long time, hundreds of years, and but somehow we seem to keep reinventing them to make them exciting and new again. What have you seen lately that is different than what we've been seeing in the past with regard to design or aesthetics?
Sure. Yeah. One thing that's maybe it's surprising, maybe it's not, but the continued trend of black and gray and dark exteriors remains very, very strong. So continuing to look for ways to make sure that we can engineer products and the right materials to provide that aesthetic and that look that customers demand today. So that's a trend we see. Another trend we see is the indoor-outdoor space. It's really just exploded. You think about we really started dabbling in things like big multi-slide doors and bifold doors 10, 15 years ago. And that kind of all started in Phoenix and in the West over there. And we're just starting to see more and more people want to open up their homes and have that indoor-outdoor space. So that's been a really hot trend, and Pella's been trying to stay with that trend and offer a variety of products. And even the trend within the trend is, a lot of people want to have that indoor-outdoor bar entertaining thing. So we'll see products where someone wants a bar top, whether that's a mini bifold window or a gas strut type awning. These are types of things that we're seeing more and more demand for.
So it's actually like the soft ice cream stand, right? That folks are wanting in their homes to pass out drinks to guests. Isn't that right? Is that kind of the idea? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like, when you guys see something that's emerging like that, how long does it take to get a product that answers the needs of homeowners and their builders?
It depends. Something that's going to be a full, what we call a product or an operation redesign takes a little bit longer, but we have tremendous capabilities to offer that through the reserve line with our custom plant. So we have a whole custom solutions team that's dedicated to really fielding those needs and trying to develop a product that can meet those needs. If it's more of a one-off or a technology change or something like that, we can pretty quickly work with our larger volume mass-producing plants to do a one-off type variance.
Mm. So, like, when you started getting call for, black windows and doors, as an example, like, do you have to test those new coatings that are suddenly very popular? I mean, like, it would seem to me like it would take some time for any potential problems to be revealed. How do you make sure that's going to work once they get out in the field?
Yeah, we work with quality suppliers that supply our paints and our systems, and in order for us to make a claim, whether it's AMA 2604 or AMA 624.
I'm going to interrupt you there because our listeners probably don't know what those things are.
That's fine, but needless to say,
I say listeners, I mean me.
They have to pass a certain amount of minimum field exposure to make sure we're not going to see chalking of the paint and fading of the paint and other types of degradation. So we make sure we're working with quality suppliers, and then we do our own internal testing to make sure that those paints that are supplied to us work well with the substrates and the parts and assemblies that we put them on.
Do you then ultimately test, whole window assemblies, painted ones? I mean, because I presume that materials might behave differently once it's on a window versus a paint chip.
Correct. Yep. So we will actually put, like you suggest, the coupons will go into test chambers, and we'll do accelerated testing, and then we'll put actually full assemblies out in environment, some of the most extreme environments around the country.
So can I assume you have different testing areas to reproduce the country's various trials with regards to weather and conditions?
Right. We tend to focus on the most severe, and they're the ones that the armed forces has deemed the most severe for their level of corrosion tests. So we just take their lead. Interesting.
That's pretty cool. What do you think the next big thing is? Because this is something I'm always curious. I seem to be bad at predicting that. What's coming down the pipeline that you're seeing that the rest of us haven't?
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. The industry in general, a lot of times it's competitive, right? So most everyone is seeing what the customers are asking for and kind of what some of the trends are. But prior to being in this position, I was the manager of R&D and innovation. So I managed the group of folks that were doing all the technology scouting. And so it's pretty interesting to see really all the companies that are trying to break through with technology innovations, whether it's electrochromics and dynamic glazings. There's lots of different privacy glass things that are out there. There's a whole bunch of companies that are trying to kind of crack the nut of how do you make your window as part of the building envelope be zero energy. So how do you turn it into a photovoltaic, basically a solar panel, right, that you can look through. So different things like that.
When is that coming? I want that, man.
Next year.
That is so awesome. Is that really something you're working on? That's cool.
It's something that we continue to monitor. So Pella is not, creating that technology from inside, but we work with industry partners, and we work very closely with our glass providers to see what are the next things and what are the things sort of on the precipice of being a big deal in the fenestration industry.
And I would say that, in my lifetime, glass has gotten so much improved for all climate zones and all regions of the country. Would you agree that that's one of the great advances in window and door technology in the last 20 or 30 years?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you take that macro view, you think about where we were, everything was single pane, and to a great degree, you talk about energy in the country. There's still a lot of single pane windows out in the market. So there's a huge opportunity for folks to take advantage of the glass technologies and the window technologies from an energy standpoint. But whether it's dual pane, triple pane, the advances in low emissivity coatings that exist, there's just a tremendous amount of technology that's contributing to major advances in fenestration products.
I was, not coincidentally, I was thinking this because we're currently having a tropical storm in New England, but the advances in stopping missiles with regard to high wind events is a huge advance too. I think you'd agree, right? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I should probably mention it's maybe apropos today, but we do offer a line of hurricane-resistant products as well within the Architect Reserve. But yeah, hurricane-resistant products in the industry really kind of all started. Florida led the charge, back in the day when they got ravaged by the hurricanes, and the insurance industry said, "Look, enough is enough. We need to design products that are going to withstand." So taking some cues from automotive and some of the laminated glass and a lot of the technologies that exist, a variety of manufacturers are now offering really quality products that should withstand some of the worst hurricanes we're going to see up and down the Atlantic coast.
Can I assume that those are still a very small percentage of your overall, sales? But where do you see most of them being sold? I'm assuming it's the Gulf Coast, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
Yeah, and so on the Atlantic coast, up and concentrated in Florida, right? And then of course you got Texas, the Galveston area, things like that. Those are going to be the concentration. And as you move up the coast, there's still a need. Just the strength of the hurricanes as they move up into the Northeast tends to diminish. So code requirements then also would be a little bit less up the Atlantic coast.
What do you see as other impressive innovations within the industry with regard to either performance or safety or longevity?
Yeah, so I think a lot of the companies out there are kind of looking for the next generation of materials that's going to help give the homeowner the comfort and the assurance that their product is going to last from a durability standpoint. So whether it's going to be paint and materials in the wood side of things, or like I mentioned before, what we're doing with the fiberglass and on the impervious side of things, customers, they want peace of mind. They want maintenance free. They want to know they're going to buy a product. They're going to invest in a product that they're not going to have to worry about down the road. So I think most manufacturers are looking for that durability and that maintenance free angle.
I'm guessing that the pros in the audience of the Fine Homebuilding podcast would say they don't want trouble. They want things to just work. They don't want a hassle. How do you help your professionals get a good product delivered to their customer and ensure a good installation that works for a long time? You guys were innovators in that space. I sold building materials, folks who listen to the show know, in a previous life, and I was always impressed that you guys had packages. You had steel pan flashings and tapes that worked with your windows, and your sales reps would actually go out and train the installers to do a good job. Are you still doing stuff like that?
Right. I mean, a big portion of our installation in the field today is done by independent contractors. So it's in everyone's best interest to make sure that we have a repeatable and a quality process for our windows to go in, so that the contractors don't experience headaches and our distribution partners don't experience headaches. So we do invest a lot in making sure that we have some of the best materials. We provide proprietary flashing tape and other products, so that we can get that level of consistency. Because now the industry has really come a long way as far as what is the appropriate way to manage water in the openings.
What? So as I recall, your windows are sold in two channels. I think Pella has its own stores, or at least showrooms, and then they're also sold by millwork dealers, lumber yards. These folks that our listeners who already have relationships with, right?
Right.
And how does that process work? Do you also have outside sales reps who will visit a job site where there's a big expensive window order with interesting products? Is it still part of the culture to go out and see the contractors in the field?
Yeah, of course, we work with our distribution partners to have quality reps, and then we'll do a lot of ride-alongs to understand the unique and changing needs of the builders. Like, my brand in particular, I work with high-end builders, so it's not just the builder; it's also the architect influencer, and it's the interior design influencer. You talk about the inspired distinction seeker in the homeowner. Sometimes they're very involved, and sometimes the high-end builder ends up making a lot of decisions on behalf of their clients. So you really got to get close to the action to understand how those needs are changing, and then what solutions we have to meet those needs.
And how would our listeners track down a dealer, or how would a builder get your help in putting a window and door package together for a custom home?
Yeah, of course, you can go to Pella.com, and we have a bunch of solutions, and you can find an authorized dealer through Pella.com. Or you can probably go to your favorite search engine and type in Pella and then what you're looking for, and it's going to take you right to the closest dealer.
Do you have different channels for consumers, the home owners versus the pros who are installing them? Do you have different resources available to those two groups? And I should mention designers and specifiers too.
Yeah, so all the channels that we deal with will deal both to the pros, the builders, as well as the homeowners. We have both through both channels, but there's specific tools that help out with the focus of our distribution partners, because there's a certain way that they like to do business that we try to cater to with specific tools.
And how does that? I mean, so you get a call from a builder or remodeler. What does the scenario look like? Do they send you plans? Do you visit the job site first? How do you best answer their specific needs?
Yeah, they can. I mean, they can be very well organized and have a very specific vision of what they want to accomplish, and can send us specs and elevation views, and we could try to provide a menu of solutions for them to choose from, or steer them to the appropriate solution based on what they're trying to accomplish. Or, we have a variety of showrooms and trained experts that you can walk in and say, look, these are the top 3 things I'm most concerned with. Where should I start looking? And really walk them through the experience and let them touch and interact with a variety of products and see what they fall in love with.
For folks who are listening to this, who may be, contemplating a large window purchase, whether it be homeowners or builders, what should folks be paying attention to with regard, because most likely they're going to be comparing at least a couple different brands of products. What do you think are the things that you as a buyer would want to have assurances or check the quality of with regard to a big purchase like this? What would you want to know?
Well, I think for me, in today's day and age, really any industry you look at, there's a tremendous labor shortage. So not only are you going to look at the quality and the reputation of the products, the variety of products that are available to you to give you that level of confidence, but you're going to look at the partners that you're working with, right? How much confidence do you have that sales rep or that distribution center is going to be with you throughout the entire journey? Because especially in the custom home side of things, it's usually complicated. There's nothing that's straightforward. So you got to make sure that you have a channel of communication and a team of people that are going to be there for you when little things pop up. And that's really where your best industry partners are going to be. Is they're going to be a guide for you through the whole process, and they're going to be your partner from the time that you order your windows to the time that you turn the keys over.
And what can builders and remodelers expect from Pella with regard to service after the sale? Like, stuff happens. Subcontractors break things. All kinds of stuff happens on the job site, right? And windows and doors are often victim of the difficulties of moving in and out of a house while it's under construction. Like, how do you know that the dealer or the manufacturer is going to be there for you, when it's time to sign the papers with your client and they have an issue or two, right?
Yeah. It really goes back to reputation, right? We can promise you the moon and say, look, we're going to be there, and here's my card, my number. We'll go ahead and get you a recovery unit, part, piece, whatever it is, in a certain period of time. But you have to establish yourself, especially in the wood window side of things, where all the players are well established, right? Your reputation is king, and so you got to build trust. And our industry, not unlike other industries, is very relationship based, right? So you nurture and you develop that confidence by by proving yourself over and over again that, look, we're going to be there for you. We're going to provide you solutions. We're going to fix you and get you out of this jam in a timely manner so that you can make sure that you protect your brand to your clients.
Can I ask, do you have those putty glazed windows on your own house? Because I didn't know you guys made those, and I love them. And in New England, that's the quintessential choice. What kind of windows do you have?
Truthfully, not yet, because I just moved to a new place, and very high on my list is replacing all these pedestrian windows with some quality Pella windows.
I've had to live with cheap windows for 10 years now, and I would never do that again. The noise transmission alone makes good windows worth it. I think you'd agree, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the comfort. I'm always sitting next to cold windows in the wintertime. It's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to ask or tell our listeners, Travis, before we go? It's been a pleasure talking to you on so many levels. What do you want to say?
Yeah, I would just say, whatever your needs are, if you're in the market for windows, go ahead and give Pella the opportunity. We have such a wide variety of solutions for folks, and we strive every day to try to be the best partner we can be to our friends in the administration and the building industry.
What's the coolest thing you've seen come out of your custom shop? I've seen some pretty amazing windows come out of the millwork shops in the Midwest. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know if I could pick just one. Here recently we've started working on a 90-degree corner multi-slide that we'll offer through custom solutions. I mentioned the gas strut awnings, and then we're also starting to put some liquid crystal switchable privacy glass in a variety of banks of windows and so forth, which is really intriguing and slick to see you switch over a whole bank of windows to essentially the frosted look with the click of a button.
With no freaking window coverings hanging in or being in the way. Like, that is awesome. That is completely awesome.
Right.
Well, unfortunately, that is all the time we have today. My sincere thanks to Jeff and Travis for joining me, and thanks to all of you for listening. Please remember to send us your comments, questions, and suggestions to fhbpodcast@taunton.com. And please like, comment, or review us however you're listening. It helps other folks find our podcast. Stay safe, everybody. Keep craft alive. Happy building. Thanks very much for listening.